When Marlene Holt, Martell Holt's mother, finally spoke her mind, it wasn't just another reality TV moment. It felt like years of unspoken truth spilling out in a way that no one could ignore. This wasn't shade, it wasn't casual commentary, and it definitely wasn't for entertainment. It was the deep pain of a mother who had watched her son lose everything that once mattered most. Every word carried weight, and every pause told a story. What made it even more powerful is that she didn't scream or shout. She didn't need to. Her truth cut deeper than any loud argument could, because it was the truth of a mother who had watched it all unfold up close. Marlene's honesty shook viewers because it came from a place of both love and heartbreak. She was speaking not only about Martell as her son, but also about the family he had destroyed, the woman he lost, and the chaos that came afterward. When she started talking about Melody Shari, you could feel the respect in her tone. She didn't speak of Melody as just an ex-daughter-in-law. She spoke of her like a daughter she still wished she had in her life. She remembered the way Melody carried herself with class, the way she kept the family together, and the way she managed to keep Martell looking like he had it all, even when behind the scenes he was making decisions that risked everything. This moment was powerful because it showed something everyone already suspected: Marlene truly valued Melody. She saw Melody as the one who kept things steady. She was the planner, the builder, the glue that held everything together while Martell let his impulsive decisions tear it all apart. A mother doesn't need outsiders to tell her who's good for her child. She feels it deep down, and Marlene made it clear that Melody was the one who kept the Holt family shining. The contrast between how she spoke about Melody and how she spoke about Arionne Curry could not have been sharper. When Marlene shifted her words toward Arian, her entire energy changed. She didn't insult her directly, but the disappointment was heavy. She didn't even call what Martell and Arian had a relationship or love. She stripped all meaning from it with a single word. She called it an incident. That word alone told the story. An incident is something fleeting, something without value, something that causes disruption. By choosing that word, Marlene made it clear that she never saw Martell and Arian's connection as real or meaningful. For Arian, that must have stung more than any insult could. Because when your child's grandmother refuses to acknowledge your decade-long involvement with her son as anything more than an incident, it speaks volumes. Marlene didn't even need to raise her voice. Her tone carried grief and disappointment, but also finality. She wasn't just blaming Arian. She was blaming what Arian represented. Chaos, dysfunction, and a detour from the path Martell was supposed to walk. Marlene's heartbreak was layered. She hadn't just lost a daughter-in-law in Melody. She had lost the version of her son that once had vision, focus, and purpose. When Martell was with Melody, he had structure. He had someone pushing him forward, reminding him of what greatness looked like. Together, they were a power couple, building businesses, raising children, and representing Huntsville in ways that made them admired. Martell and Melody were the ones putting Huntsville on the map as more than just another southern city. While others in the cast were making moves, Martell and Melody were building an empire. Marlene remembered those times, the family dinners, the kids laughing, the balance that Melody brought into Martell's impulsive life. She remembered when there was peace, progress, and a future filled with stability. And then she had to watch as her son threw it all away. Her words weren't just about infidelity or betrayal. She called Martell out for never learning from his mistakes. He kept making the same choices, spinning the same excuses, and expecting different results. A mother can see through excuses, and Marlene made it clear she was tired of clapping for dysfunction. Her words about Martell's youngest son, Maverick, were especially emotional. She loves her grandson deeply, that was never in question. But Maverick's existence is tied to the moment everything in the Holt family shifted. Every time she looks at him, she is reminded of what was lost. It's not Maverick's fault, he is innocent, but he is also a symbol of the decisions that broke the family apart. For Marlene, that wound hasn't healed. She can love her grandson while still mourning what his arrival represents, the final undoing of a family foundation that once looked unbreakable. the contrast between Melody and Ariane became even clearer as Marlene spoke. Melody doesn't need to clap back on social media or insert herself into drama. She moves in silence, building her brand, securing deals, raising her children with grace, and shining without having to drag anyone else down. Ariane, on the other hand, has been tied to years of chaos, mess, and instability. Marlene didn't need to spell it out. The difference between the two women is obvious. One builds, the other drains. One creates peace, the other brings noise. And yet Martell chose the path of noise and chaos, refusing to admit the truth. What makes Marlene's words so cutting is that they come from a place Martell can't deny. Other cast members have called him out before. Marceau Scott, Maurice Scott, Kimmy, even Miss Wanda, everyone has had something to say about Martell at one point or another. But when your own mother looks at you and tells you the truth, there's no way to spin it. There's no way to justify it. Marlene stripped away the excuses and gave Martell accountability in its rawest form. She made it clear that Martell still has time. He's not too far gone. But every decision from this point forward will decide whether he redeems himself or continues down the same destructive path. As a mother, she will always love him. But she refused to clap for dysfunction any longer. That was the heart of her message. She was tired of watching him spiral. Tired of nodding quietly while he justified bad choices. Tired of waiting for him to become the man she knows he could be. Her words were both a wake-up call and a final warning. The weight of Marlene's honesty is heavy because she sees the full picture. She sees the ghost of what once was, the holidays with Melody, the family unity, the balance and progress that existed when Martell had the right partner by his side. Now, all she sees are court battles, chaos, and the same mistakes on repeat. She knows that until Martell makes a real change, he will always be haunted by the shadow of what he lost. Because deep down, everyone knows Melody was the light. Losing her was the greatest mistake of his life. This truth from Marlene wasn't gossip. It wasn't a storyline for television. It was raw, unfiltered truth from a mother who loves her son but refuses to ignore reality. Her words carried pain, disappointment, and love all at once. And the fact that she put Melody on a pedestal while reducing Ariane to an incident speaks volumes about how she truly feels. It also shows how deeply she wishes her son had chosen differently, because she knows that with Melody by his side, Martell's life could have been completely different. As this story continues to unfold, it's clear that Marlene's truth will echo for a long time. Martell may try to juggle co-parenting with Melody, maintaining his situation with Ariane, and keeping up his public image, but his mother's words have already exposed what needs to be said. When a mother speaks, you listen. And in this case, Marlene Holt gave the world the most honest breakdown of this saga we've ever heard.